Man, did y'all enjoy that premiere as much as I did? I had a blast watching that. Man, it is such a good reminder of how refreshing Big Brother Canada is, to witness the diversity, to witness the difference in how they approach the first episode, how they try to make their players uncomfortable, not just the ones they have preferential treatment towards, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your number one source for everything there is rants and strategy talk regarding Big Brother Canada 7. I am your humble host, Dave Smith. And this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't yet, please, by all means, check out my pre-game ranking system. It is the rant entitled WTF, Worst to First. In that, you will have much more context as to why I took the same type of notes as I normally take, but why I started to pick up on certain nuances, certain subtle things in people's gameplay, and why I'm starting to automatically pick out the production pets already from just a premiere episode, ladies and gentlemen. So please, if you haven't already, check out that WTF episode, ladies and gentlemen. And my apologies for not doing a draft for this season. I didn't really have enough time to actually schedule one and get people together, unfortunately. And my schedule is really tight these days. But ladies and gentlemen, you are here to hear me talk about this premiere episode. Did you guys enjoy it? I enjoyed it. And the reason why we're calling this rant pre-game tragedy, ladies and gentlemen, is not only because it's a play on words from pre-game strategy, but it's because everyone's pre-game strategy was thrown out the damn window tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I couldn't be more happy about it. Because even the people who look like to be front runners to win the game were thrown under the bus. Now, I'm going to break down how certain people got off a bit easy when it came to that part, but that was a little bit later down the episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break down things really slowly. We're going to also answer questions towards the end. So if you have questions, get them together, okay? Now, at the end of the day, I know that I am doing this rant while Survivor is on, while the challenge is on. So I 100% understand if all of you cannot be here live with me. So at the end of the day, whether you're here live or whether you're here on demand, still comment with your questions and I might be able to answer them for tomorrow's episode. So have them ready, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. The first thing I would like to discuss, I didn't really think Damien had a shot of winning this vote unless that First Nation shit came into play. Now, have y'all noticed? During his intro montage, the man mentioned First Nation like 36 times in maybe a 30-second interval, okay? I've never heard someone say that many times. Like, that would be me if I'm constantly talking about myself and I say, yeah, the rant god. Like, if I just kept saying it over and over again, it would get annoying, right? You feel it, dig me? Oh, and I forgot to do my intro. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trail, Rant God, Thanos, all of the above on that ISET test and ACT. I can't leave that out. You know what I'm saying? That's a signature, coach. But let's get back to Damien, though, a.k.a. First Nation Damien, the guy who I believe this vote was rigged for to hell and back. Okay? I definitely think this was rigged for him. Okay? Now, maybe this First Nation shit, maybe, there's a lot of people that want to see a First Nation guy win it. Maybe it's just that simple and he won based off of that. But if you were to just go off of the pregame, off of the interviews, off of the bios, this guy did nothing to deserve this twist. Absolutely nothing, which goes back to my point. And I know a lot of people will be like, Dave, stop talking about race all the time. But do you see how difficult it is for someone black to win something like that? Meanwhile, a guy like Damien can show up as stale as stale as croutons on a salad, on a tossed salad. He could show up as stale as that during his pregame interviews, ladies and gentlemen, and that's perfectly fine. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. My mic is getting caught up in the shit behind it. Okay. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, but that's my problem with this Damien guy early, okay? He looks like one of those crash and burn guys that they had to give a twist to in order for him to have any leg up on anybody. And the fact that he was able to eavesdrop on the other house guests as they introduced themselves to each other, I didn't like that aspect of it. I mean, it's enough that he knows about a secret room. It's enough that he knows about a blood veto's existence, and we don't really know if that's his veto to use at any moment. I still don't really know the rules when it comes to that blood veto. So if any of y'all know what's going to happen regarding that blood veto in the future, please enlighten me later on in this rant. But at the end of the day, it didn't seem like his twist was very powerful at all until he got to eavesdrop. Then I was like, okay, this is a bit overpowered. This is giving me Levita flashbacks. Okay. And then when you add to the fact that we got these two women now that we can vote for to enter the game, I mean, both of them look boring. When you talk about as stale as croutons, both of them was as stale as croutons, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just being honest. But see, this does nothing but give credence to the people who assume we will get a veteran or returnee brought into this game. Because I must ask you all this question. If the game right now is 14 house guests, if the game right now, I believe, is 7 men, 7 women, then voting to bring in an 8th woman doesn't make sense, because then that naturally takes away the balance of the game. Now, I know what they're thinking, probably. They're thinking, okay, he's going to nominate 2 people. They're probably going to make sure one of the people who enter the game late isn't one of the people that can go first. So Adam is probably, Adam's the HOH. Let me mention that part. But Adam is probably going to nominate 2 people. Kaylin looks like she's in huge trouble. I'm going to get into her in a second. I'm disappointed in her. And see, this is why I said I felt like, to a degree, and I'm not blaming Ika, but I felt like to a degree, Ika didn't check her enough on that 29 to 32 shit. But to be fair, Ika couldn't really do it because they probably were watching Ika more carefully when she was interviewing black people. So Ika probably has to act extra fair when it comes to a black player and really can't give them no tea, really can't give them no inside fastball because people expect her to. So she's probably a bit compromised there, and she's probably a bit handcuffed when it comes to helping a black house guest deal with their own self-awareness. I feel like Kaylin, a person with the background that she has, she should have been smart enough never to tell a house, especially when you deal with the toast and realize some of the ages around you. Now, the way the edit was portrayed, it made it seem like Kaylin was the unlucky first person that had to reveal their profession and age. Now, I don't know if they edited it this way to make Kaylin look stupid, or if she truly introduced herself after everyone else did and actually realized everyone else is much older than the average cast and still decided to claim she was 29. Either way, she made a mistake. But of course, the latter makes her seem much more incompetent strategically in the social game and in just the likability category than the one before it. So there's a lot of problems here in theory, because if she went first to reveal herself, then they kind of just set her up to fail just to get the soundbite of her claiming to be 29 when she's 40. Now, if she waited until people revealed themselves and still decided to do it, then clearly she was just stubborn with her pregame strategy and felt like she had to apply it because she didn't have a changeup pitch. She did not have an audible. And that is the scary part. When you come into this game so fixated on a strategy that the minute something happens, like the scene we saw where they just revealed all of the secrets that they didn't want people to know about. And let's really break that down, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can tell, I'm really excited because I'm freestyling the majority of this episode already. Okay, the reason why I'm really excited about them revealing all the secrets, but at the same time I'm kind of half and half, right, is mainly because if you pay attention, the men, all of them basically just revealed they were making money outside the house. Strategically, they didn't have to reveal anything in their secrets that really compromised them in the game. But the women, on the other hand, I got to stick up for them because I felt like that did more to ruin the women's games than it did to ruin any of the men's games. And then this is going to give credence to the people that think Chelsea Bird is some type of a plant, some type of a production pet. And after tonight, I think she's the apex production pet. Let me explain. Why was Chelsea Bird the only person during this scene that had a secret that was similar to the guy's secret of being from money? But all the other women's secrets, like Kiera, for instance, her secrets is based off of, oh, I'm really good at lying. That makes her seem shady off the bat, right? Kaylin, she admits she can do readings. Why the fuck does a waxologist know about psychic readings? That immediately throws her entire strategy out the window. Eddie Lynn, they reveal him with the cryptocurrency. Now his strategy is in limbo because he was planning on playing dumber than he actually is. Now they know, oh, motherfucker, you're on the dark web. You're smarter than all of us, maybe combined. Now he has to reassess and pivot. But this is why I like this, because now this is really the first season I can remember in a long time where from day one, everyone is pivoting and they're all pivoting against their will. See, usually everyone pivots because it's natural for the day one game, but it's rare that the engineers of the strategy of the twist are so clever to create a twist that really isn't a twist that is designed to force everyone to jump out of their comfort zone and play on the fly. This is ingenious. But to get back to Chelsea, all her secret was, oh, I was in pageants growing up and I was in that world and I don't want people to know about that. The one thing I felt very interesting about that was, did you notice how Laura did a double take? Now, her and Laura, they hit it off really well early, like really well. Pre-game alliance alert kind of really well. If I'm being honest, it was kind of pre-game alliance-y. The way they just hit it off, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I did notice that they even made Laura turn around for a second. Now, here's my thing. Did Chelsea mean that because she has a history of being in pageants, she doesn't want no one to know because that implies you come from an opulent background of having money? Was that what she meant? Because if that's what she meant, then she really broke as even as all the men, which backs up my argument. But if she meant something deeper than that, as if I didn't want no one to know that because I'm from a different world, as if I'm better than you because I'm from said world, then that would explain Laura's reaction. See, we don't know how they edited that. You see what I'm getting at? Because what would make Laura do that if she's hitting it off with this girl so much and all she said was what we saw? See, I'm bringing it, coach. Oh, we in mid-season form. We in mid-season form. We don't even need real Vegas for BBCAN7. Y'all got me. And I got the mug to prove it. You feel it, Nick? Me? But yeah, man, I'm really excited about this, as you can tell, man. You feel me? Shout outs to the brother Champagne Tone. For the most part, all he exposed was I never watched a game before. And salute to Big Brother Canada, because y'all did a great job of screwing Andrew, Hamza, and Marin. By the way, shout outs to those three brothers. Last night I was watching their live draft coverage of Big Brother Canada 7. Watch that on Andrew Miller's channel. I believe it's called Those Miller Boys. Go ahead and look that up and check it out after you get done checking out this rant. I guarantee you will have some good laughs. Shout outs to those brothers. And hopefully I can get both Marin and Hamza on a rant later on in this season. Hopefully we can work on that in the background. And I like to keep my word, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, so to get back to that twist though, okay? At the end of the day, Champagne Tone, he really only got exposed from the perspective of, oh, I've never played the game before. In a way, I think that helps Tone's game. I think Tone made out like a bandit, and I feel like this was Big Brother Canada's way of atoning for the heaven or hell fiasco, in my opinion. I feel like they atoned for it a bit. Now, I know Andrew, he probably feeling like, no, they ain't atoned for shit because I got eliminated off it. I feel you. But at the end of the day, mate, this is your man's right here, Drew. So at the end of the day, hey, if he can reap the benefits from a post-Andrew Miller Big Brother Canada game, then so be it. I'm happy a brother can benefit from it because the way Kaylin is starting off, we can only put our eggs in the Anthony basket at this point. I mean, I think Kaylin fucked up here. I think she royally fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because she basically said she was younger than half the cast. And there's people on Twitter already revealing this. By her admitting she's 29, the majority of the cast, that's her saying she's younger than Samantha Pico. You feel what I'm saying? That's her saying she's younger than Chelsea Bird. Think about that, okay? And I'm not saying either one of those two women look young or old, but at the end of the day, though, it's going to be hard for you to convince people, even though black doesn't crack, that you are that young. I just thought it was a misplay. I thought it was a huge misplay, you know, and I'm sure Kaylin would have never thought that they would air her laundry out the way they did to really make her look even worse. But I mean, you even saw it on Champagne Tone's face. He wasn't buying that. He knew she wasn't 29. I mean, he just gave her a look like, damn, girl. To be fair, though, if I was a heterosexual black male in a season with the only heterosexual black woman, even if she's married and has a man and stuff like that, any mistake she makes does inadvertently affect my game indirectly. So of course I would give her that look too. Like, what the fuck is going on? Because we have this understanding that goes without being said, but you might not last long enough to hold up your end of the bargain, coach. So now Anthony's forced to pivot and maybe work with the All Men's Alliance because Adam's the HOH. So, man, this is interesting, y'all. This is really interesting, man. You know, and I felt bad for Kira. And, you know, because at the end of the day, Kira's pregame strategy was smart, but they exposed her game like, oh, I'm a comp beast. I'm not going to show anybody how much of a beast I am early in the game until later. Like, whoa, I'm sure that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because she's already counting the weeks that she'll be in the game in her reveal. So it's like, damn. And then she basically had the damage control and goes, I'm not a comp beast, guys. Yeah, I kind of wish Kira would have shut the hell up right there. That's the last thing they want to hear after you was talking all that hot shit. That would be like someone finding one of my rants, and then I'd be like, I don't know habla English. Like, that would be like me doing that. A dude who could speak as well as me with the English tongue, then all of a sudden go no habla English when they approach me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, coach, you can't talk all that hot shit, not keep that same energy. You know, she was better off just keeping it, just react to it, you know. But I did notice that there were people when Kiera's thing came up, they'd be like, oh, Kiera. So there's already people that are on Kiera's side early, okay? And if you really pay attention, there's 4 production pets early in this season. Damien, because he won the twist. I still believe it was a little question mark on that. You got Kiera, who had one of the, I mean, I'm being honest, one of the most favoritized isn't a word. They were showing her so much favoritism in her intro montage clip. Like, you could tell the people she entered the game with, you could tell she was the favorite out of that group. You could tell Chelsea Bird was the favorite out of her group. And you could also tell that Kira was the favorite out of her group. So you got Damien, Kira, Kiera, and Chelsea. Those are the 4 front runners right now for production's love, if you will. But clearly Chelsea is that apex predator pet. I'm just being honest. She's the apex predator pet. It goes without being said, coach. It really goes without being said. Like, if you're really reading this edit the way I think we all know how to in the RBR community, you pretty much can telegraph what's going on. Those 4 pretty much hold the power vacuum. Now, Adam is the HOH, and I fully expect him not to nominate any of those 4 people, which is why I'm worried for Kaylin, because he's the easy person to put up. Now you just look for a pawn to go next to her. And see, at the end of the day, all Adam wants to do is get rid of a woman week 1 anyway. And maybe that's why they decided to make these 2 people that get voted back in the game be 2 women. We don't know. But it feels weird. It feels like this HOH is like a formality. And it feels like Kaylin could easily be BB14 Jodied as well. And that's what scares me. I don't want to see her get eliminated before she has a real chance to legit play the game. Then she gets replaced by a white woman. And then it's like, oh, fuck. You know, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, why couldn't we just have a cast of 16 and let them all play? Because one of those women could have been a bigger target than Kaylin if they come in the game with her. But by allowing them to come in the game after her, I don't know. This is kind of like the Allison scenario from Big Brother Canada 2. You know what I'm saying? When she won the public's vote over that one guy and then the other guy, and then she got in the game and everyone was rooting for her to do stuff, but she didn't really do anything. And in fact, she was a flop because she got into the showmance with Andrew, and no one liked Andrew at the time. Well, people still don't really like Andrew. But my point is, she kind of flopped because she ended up being in a showmance that no one wanted her to work with the alliance she ended up working with when she got in the game. You know, and that was all based off of, I believe, when she came in the game, her lies didn't make sense. It didn't add up, which forced her to have to work with the alliance who everyone hated at the time. So it's going to be really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. But at the end of the day, though, these 2 house guests that they're talking about bringing in, I'm not really excited about either one of them. But this does allow the antenna, the tinfoil hat people who think that there will be some type of a returnee coming back into this game, maybe possibly a Mitchell Moffitt, who has been rumored very heavily. And if you really look at this cast, if you add Mitchell Moffitt to it, an LGBT alliance is very possible. And honestly, from just a strategic standpoint, I think they would be very powerful. I mean, just imagine Kiera, Kira, Eddie Lynn, and Mitchell Moffitt as a 4. I mean, socially, that's a hard 4 to get in between. That's really difficult, you know? And I'm not trying to generalize and just make assumptions, but I'm just saying, though, this is why people think Mitchell Moffitt is coming, because of the amount of representation that is in this game that would be beneficial for him to play alongside of, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I would like to mention? Because I pretty much freestyled everything. Man, when I tell you I was in full speed mode because I was so excited about this premiere. Now, I basically said that. Oh, yeah, let's get into this whole thing. The lie that I did like that Kaylin used, the waxologist lie. The reason why I did like this lie, ladies and gentlemen, is because in theory, And this is before the thing exposed her. So, you know, it's kind of hard for this to be assessed now and be implemented by her now if no one really gives her credibility now, which I said was possible now. And did you notice how the majority of these players came off like I predicted they would in WTF? And I think I was really spot on. I mean, Damian looks like he should have ranked the lowest. He looks like it. I'm just being honest. I mean, as soon as he saw, who was it? I think it was, who did he see in that room? Was it Adam? I think he saw Adam and Dane in the storage room, and he was like, "I like these guys." As soon as they start talking about the guidelines, I like these guys. I'm like, man, this Damian guy, man, Flop McGee out here, coach. But yeah, but to get back to Queen Kaylin, I like the waxologist lie because most people won't probe any deeper about the life of someone who waxes people. I mean, most guys, if they're not already into that life, then they're not gonna want to be into it. Now, some, they might act like they're into it to form some type of a bond with her strategically. That might be someone's strategy. But if you're not already into that lifestyle, the tanning booth lifestyle, the Brazilian wax lifestyle, as they call it, you're probably not going to probe her for information on the lifestyle of someone who's a waxologist. So I thought that was a good lie because that is the type of lie. No one will try to catch you in a lie for describing the lifestyle of it. Okay, but at the same time, though, we got to give Caitlin some credit for how far ahead she thought about this lie. Because if she's telling people she's a waxologist, that implies she's waxes them. But if, let's say, on the small chance that they do want her to show her waxologist skills, this opens her up to do what? To touching them and possibly implementing her psychic prowess into the strategy of the game. So this is why well, I guess we can't even call it this week because there's not a veto. Seems like someone's going home tomorrow, coach. But at the end of the day, you know, if she can make it past this first week, which I highly doubt based off of Adam's pregame strategy, based off of her own lies, and based off the thirst all of these women who got exposed will have to want to find someone else to throw under the bus other than themselves, I fully expect everyone to jump on code and say, hey, she clearly lied about her age. Let's get her, okay? And she clearly probably lied about her profession because she went from saying she's used to taking hair off bodies to all of a sudden saying she could do psychic readings. That's not adding up, okay? And I think Ricky Williams had some impact on Kaylin's casting. Maybe sort of. Maybe it was a little bit of him, a little bit of Caitlin. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, if she can implement some of this psychic ability into her waxologist folklore, if you will, then this could help her in the game if she survives this week. So I want to give her a fair shake, ladies and gentlemen. But is there anything else that I would like to get into? I think I pretty much nailed everything, and I think it is wise that we just go into the question period. See, this is the great thing about my rants before we have any live feeds. We have no way to back up this speculation, and that's why the rants don't have to be that long. But y'all know me. The minute this gets the minute the live feeds kick up and I can start really taking notes, you're going to get longer episodes. But the last thing I want to mention is with Adam winning this first HOH, it will be interesting to see if he implements the brigade strategy, despite the fact that this is a pre-game tragedy. Okay. And yeah, I had to hit y'all with some bars right there. I had to do it. I mean, I had to do it. And I didn't even check to see if y'all could hear me. Oh, I'm tweaking on the low. Hold on. Let me make sure. Did I go 40 minutes? Okay. I'm about to say, did I just waste 26 minutes talking to no one, coach? You feeling, dig me? Yeah, but okay, we're back. Okay, I see y'all. I am ready, ladies and gentlemen, to take questions now. If you guys got some questions, let's get it popping. Once again, to all of the people that may be checking this out on demand, I fully understand if you are watching Survivor or The Challenge right now. Okay, it is no big deal. All right, but I will be answering questions, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what y'all got. Let's see what y'all got. More women equals more chances to get Adam out. Low-key won't do that. You do have a point there, coach. Because at the end of the day, you know, I felt like in the intro montage, they was kind of trying to set up Adam and Chelsea as this possible showmance. But I think Adam wasn't going for that shit. He wasn't going for that shit. But I will say, props to DJ Mackey. Props to that brother. Because he truly impressed me today during that HOH competition, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I would have never thought First off, it felt like the edit was designed to make it seem like Laura was going to win it. Can we be honest? Didn't it feel like the edit was designed for Adam or Laura to win? Which further backs up my argument that one is like the ultra feminist and one is the ultra masculinist. So they're playing those polar opposites correctly in the edit. But at the same time, though, you know, it really felt like Laura would make it to the next round. And for Mackie to pull that off, I thought that was very impressive, especially for a guy who none of us really suspected to be a comp beast. But it just goes to show when your pregame alliance is designed and based on the social game, sometimes it is wise just to show people you are a competitor at the beginning so you're not a pushover, or as the challenge fans would call it, a layup, ladies and gentlemen. So that's great to know as well. But I did want to give credit where it was due with Mackie. Yeah, I really like Mackie too, Sheldon. But do any of you all have any questions? Okay, I do have a question from brother Johnny. He asked the question, how many games do you think are screwed by that second twist? I think a lot of games are screwed. I mean, I already brought up Eddie Lynn now has to reassess his entire strategy. I think he can still apply it, but at the end of the day, no one's going to believe he's a dumb Asian man no more. So now he has to almost use the stereotype to his advantage even more because they know for a fact he's intelligent. Right. So he's got to probably play down the language barrier a little bit more now. He's probably got to play that down now because they're going to probably look at it as insincere if he tries to play it that way. And we already know Kaylin's right now being perceived as insincere. So he doesn't want to be the person who is the pawn next to her on the block. He's got to be careful. You know, and I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, Kira, I think she's going to be okay. But that didn't make her look too good. Kiera, I think for someone who really is being really championed early by a lot of fans as being the person who has, like, you know, the triple threat, as I call it, where they can win comps, they can dominate socially, and they can be likable while doing it, you know, and have the right strategy to be able to pivot correctly. You know what I'm saying? You know, most people look at her right now as the apex predator threat. I still believe Kira, not Kiera, is that apex predator threat. And in fact, I think this could help Kira's game if one of those two women come into the game and they come in a bit too hot. Because if one of these women come into the game a bit too hot, that does nothing but make people forget about the shit that was exposed about the original cast, because all of them now think that this person's a mole, this person's a twist, this person didn't really have to make it through week one like the rest of us did. So that could really put one of the other two in a huge bind, and they could be the second boot of the season as well. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, anything can happen. And this is why we love Big Brother Canada. It's not a cookie cutter cast, right? I'd argue if you would administer this same level of twist in the BBUS, the type of production interference that goes on over and over again, I would be shocked if they did show as much compromising information on the television screen of their faves the way BBCAN did in tonight's episode. I mean, I commend production for even showing as much as they did, for them to show them exposing Kiera the way that they did. You know, I thought that was a huge step because I can tell that is one of their pets. You feel me? But they still protected Chelsea, so they're not off the hook completely. But let's see if we got some more questions, ladies and gentlemen. From Sims 3 Reality Central, do you think Anthony would get close to Adam given that he is the HOH? I think it's highly probable that Champagne Tone, a.k.a. The Package, would align with Adam Pike. And the reason why is simple. Number one, it seemed to be neck and neck between the two of them to win the comp. Adam says he wants a brigade. I mean, when you look at Anthony, I mean, he's basically Lane's swollenness, but more swole. You feel what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, who was the person that Hayden took with him to the end to cut Enzo in spite of? It was Lane. And I could see Adam Pike feeling like, all right, in order for me to use this strategy, I have to be at the end with someone that probably or probably won't rub people the wrong way more than I do. And I think it would be refreshing to actually see a white male align with the black person and want to go to the end with the black person, but also know that strategically it is the wise move because they just might hold that black guy to a higher standard than the white guy subconsciously. Okay, this could be great for Anthony to make the end, and anything is possible if Anthony gets there and is allowed to speak and do his speech. So I think it would be great for Anthony's game to align with Adam, because just like Adam could believe he could beat Anthony easily at the end with the wrong or right jury being bitter or not bitter, I believe Anthony probably believes the same thing from reading and sizing up Adam enough. So I think the both of them are a match made in heaven. Pause. You feel where I'm coming from? That's my true take on that. I think Anthony, the smart move is to align with Adam. I mean, he's HOH anyway, and you were second place in that competition. And if he truly wants a guy's alliance, it just makes sense. It synergizes with his pregame strategy, even though it's a pregame tragedy, to work with my brother Champagne Tone. So that's my answer to that question. Just Sheldon asked the question, do you think that guy is going to join that all-guy alliance that he saw getting formed? I think Adam has to know, as the first HOH, the only reason why Hayden Moss and Big Brother 12 was able to lay low right after winning the first HOH is because he was well protected to lay low. And he's already said it. He wants a 4-guy alliance, and he wants each guy to go out and get a +1. That will allow them to, in theory, have 8 numbers out of 14. Okay, and that gives them the majority every week. Now, it's never that simple. I mean, we've seen enough seasons to know it never goes down the way that you expect it to. But still, the fact that he's already thinking towards that, it makes perfect sense for him to want Anthony. Why? Because Anthony's +1 is already built into the fabric of the game. If I'm Adam, I recruit Anthony because he brings Kaylin with him. And I can beat Kaylin because she lied from day one. And I believe I can beat Anthony if I play my game correctly. It's a no-brainer if I'm Adam Pike to recruit Anthony because he comes with Kaylin. Now, all of a sudden, all you need to do is recruit 2 more guys and make sure they get 2 more people. And now Adam just has to get a +1 himself. So in theory, 25% of the work is already done if he just recruits Anthony. See that? See that? Y'all know me. Y'all know me. I break it down, coach. And this is why this is turning into a really, I think this is a really good start to a real action-packed season. And by the way, the Mission Impossible theme, that was just the perfect touch on top. It's kind of like when you watch Queen of the South and you notice that Scarface music in the cut. I think it was the perfect touch. Now, they're saying this is a 007 theme, but if you listen to that song in the background, that's a Mission Impossible. That's a dun, 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 dun. That ain't no 007, coach. That ain't no GoldenEye. GoldenEye. Let me stop before I get this copyright strike. Let me stop. All right, let me stop. But anyway, let's keep it moving. All right. I think Johnny already answered that question. Okay. We have another question from Miss Tanya Williams. Do you think production exposing them will cause them to hold back in the DR? Miss Tanya, that is a very interesting question. That is a very interesting question. I think the pets won't hold back because they'll assume, I'm assuming the minute that the first twist gets revealed to the house as being a twist, and I don't know if they have to wait for Damien to use a blood veto in order for it to be revealed, or if they just wait for the power to expire to reveal it. But I think the moment that gets revealed is the moment when the production pets realize that there is a public vote. Actually, when one of the 2 women come back into the house, they'll know that there's been a public vote, which will allow Damien to know that there's been a public vote outside of the one he's won, which should make him extra thirsty in the DRs by himself in order to want to win another public vote. So yes, I think this could be a snowball effect from a lot of players if they start to perceive that this could be a game based off of the public vote, because then it becomes more of a BBUK kind of game where people are just trying to do shit for the gram, flex for the fucking flex for the feeds, as I love to call it. You feel what I'm saying? So that's very plausible as well, Miss Tanya. So yeah, I agree with you. I think some of them will be a bit apprehensive when they get into that DR, but I think the elite players, they'll know that they're here for a business trip and they will keep up all of their continuity and charisma inside of the diary room. So that's my answer to that question. Miss Terry Lynn asked the question, do you think Damien, our spy, will be one of Adam's four-guy alliance? Honestly, it's shaping up to me like it's going to be Adam, it's going to be Dane, it's going to be Anthony, and it's going to be Damien. It feels like it based off of the edit, because they've been in this house for 5 days now. So clearly the premiere edit is designed for us to see certain things so we're not surprised by tomorrow's edit as well. You feel where I'm coming from? So I would be remiss, I would be a bit ignorant to not say that the edit we saw today of Damien being the spy and noticing Dane and Adam hitting it off, that clearly we were meant to see that for a reason, because they must be 3 of the 4, which is why I think it just makes perfect sense for the 4th member to be Anthony, because if the 4th member is Anthony, he comes with Kaylin automatically. Now all of a sudden you got 5 and just need 3 women to add to the group. And yeah, really, you already got 5 now. And that's assuming Kaylin immediately works with Anthony. But yeah, in theory, you would have 5 immediately from day 2 on. I mean, that's power. That's a lot of power, which is why I'm hoping Adam does not take the bait from the rest of the house and nominates Kaylin based off of this lie, and instead looks at it as, you know what, Kaylin could become the Sabrina of this season. And for me to win like John Party or Hayden did, I might need someone like that towards the end on our side. So he could definitely implement this. You know, it's very, very possible. And I think it's the right route to go down, because what other guys should they really recruit? Because it would be 2 hockey guys. It would be Adam, who knows the game in and out. Like, do they really recruit Mark over Anthony if they want the guys to just duke it out at the end? I think Mark comes off too game body. I think Anthony, from a macho alpha male perspective, I think he gets along better naturally with Damian and with guys like Adam Pike, and with guys like brother Dane, Chop Shop Dane. I think he just naturally gets along better with these guys because of who they are as people outside of the house before they came into the game. I just think it's more of a natural fit. But what we have to hope is that these guys are alpha males enough to not be threatened by the physique of brother Anthony, because what you have a lot of times is when a brother's in the game and he's in great shape, people talk that good hot shit about wanting to duke it out like men at the end, but they never really mean that when it comes to the alpha male black dude. I'm hoping that they mean that 100%. Okay. And I hope Anthony isn't the guy they cut at final 6 because they're too cowardice to be there at the end with final 3. Because that's what happened in BB12, basically, you know. And see, that's another thing. Does Adam see Mark as the Matt from Big Brother 12? Does he see him as the guy who's necessary to bring into their alliance over Anthony because he's clearly the game bot, and Hayden needed that game bot? You see what I'm saying? Does he try too hard to play Hayden Moss's game to the point where he makes sure every single facet of the alliance matches the brigade, over guaranteeing his team has the highest probability of winning every competition like the brigade clearly cared more about? You feel me? That's the thing. And I think because this is an older cast, we're less likely to have a showmance this season as well. But the brigade needed a showmance in order to lay low. So that's another facet of this, ladies and gentlemen. Who possibly has a showmance that isn't in Adam Pike's alliance? I think Adam Pike, someone in his alliance, is the most likely to have the showmance. And I truly believe that because women usually gravitate towards the alpha males in the game. So this is interesting, man. This is really interesting. I've talked myself into enjoying this premiere even more, and I only saw it once. You feel where I'm coming from? All right, let's answer some more questions. Fartoon A asked the question, do you think Mark will complete his stage 1 plan? He wanted an alliance as well. Exactly. Mark said he wanted a 4-person alliance, but he didn't necessarily say he wanted it to be all men. This kind of works perfectly, which I mentioned in the WTF rant, how this synergizes perfectly with Adam Pike's plan. And see, that's where it becomes a little dangerous for Anthony, because if Mark gets to speak to him after he wins this HOH, if Mark is the first one that gets to speak to him and he gets recruited based off of his strategic acumen, Anthony is basically laid out to pasture. Kaylin is the easy first boot. And now we basically have the same mayonnaise brigade we had before. But I truly believe y'all can truly make this Brigade 2.0 more lit if y'all bring Anthony into the fold. I mean, at the end of the day, Anthony could still be one of the +1s in theory. You know, Adam Pike never said that every +1 in the alliance had to be a woman. He just said he wanted the core to be 4 men. So Anthony could still be, him and Kaylin could still in theory be the +2 added on top of it, but we know that they're going to be on the bottom, and that's the scenario that we wouldn't want for them specifically. And at the end of the day, I think Mark has the chops to be able to survive without this alliance more than Anthony does naturally, just based off how the game is played. And that's why I'm rooting for one scenario a little bit more than the other, if that makes sense. So that's my answer to that question as well, ladies and gentlemen. Just Sheldon asked the question, would you say Kaylin performed decent in the first comp? I think she did pretty well. I mean, at the end of the day, I would say Mackie shocked me the most. because I didn't know what to expect. But I think all of these house guests show how competitive they are. I mean, the people who didn't even make the next round, they were bummed out. It didn't really look like anyone threw this. You feel where I'm coming from? And I think that's because they got their laundry aired out. And that's why I love it so much. By airing out their pregame strategies, it makes them incapable of throwing comps now. Everyone doesn't know how they're perceived by everyone. You feel it, dig me? So, real talk, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I'm so excited about this episode. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to end this second rant on this note, and we'll jump back into this tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, and this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This rant was entitled Pre-Game Tragedy, ladies and gentlemen. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe, and on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you could be here with the most lit live chat in Big Brother Canada 7 history, bar none. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, if you haven't already, to check out my previous rant, Worst to First. It will provide way more context as to why my takes for this premiere were the way they were during this rant. And I think you will be up to speed for tomorrow's episode as well. I see you all tomorrow, and I will be answering questions again tomorrow because I love premiere week, man. I love it. I love it. So y'all have a great night. I'm finna go and watch some of these shows I'm missing out on right now, my dang self. You feel it, dig me? Y'all have a great night. I'm outie. Deuces. And shout outs to the mighty mods, by the way. I've been slipping on my pimping, giving y'all the shout out y'all deserve. Shout outs to y'all as well. All right, y'all. Deuces.